According to Jesus, happiness is a response to the gospel. According to Jesus, happiness is only a response to the gospel. You see, one of the most important but overlooked details is where Jesus taught these things from. That's why I pointed out to you real quick at the beginning. He went up to the mountain. When he got up to the mountain, he started to talk like he was giving a law. The way he worded things sounded eerily familiar, because he started to say things like, "You have heard Moses say, but I say to you." He is recreating the giving of the law. Another great religious teacher named Moses had gone up into Mount Sinai and there had given a law. Jesus is recreating that, giving a new version of the law, which leads me to the most common way people misconstrue these things. People look at these things like a list that you're supposed to work through to earn God's favor or salvation. Like a ladder you got to climb to get to God. And if you do these 8 things good enough, then God will be happy with you and he'll bless you. Which is the most common way people also misunderstand the original 10 commandments. Here are 10 things, do these things, do them well enough, eventually you'll get a passing grade. If you get a passing grade, God will let you into heaven. But what people overlook, listen, is that when Moses gave the law to Israel, he gave it to them, listen to this, after God had saved them, not before. After they had been led out of slavery in Egypt, after they had been led through the Red Sea, he gave them these 10 commandments. And the preface to the 10 commandments is, because I'm the God who saved you, therefore you should don't kill, don't steal, have no other gods before me. In the same way, Jesus is giving us these 8 things as a way not to earn salvation or blessing, but as a response to the God who has given us blessing and salvation. So here's how you could read them. Because Jesus has saved us, we can be poor in spirit because we know he promises to be our sufficiency in all things. Because Jesus has saved us, we can enter into somebody else's pain the way he entered into ours. Because Jesus saved us, we can be meek and not try to take the first place, because that's what Jesus did for us, and God promised to exalt us the way he did Jesus. Because Jesus saved us, we can hunger and thirst for the God of righteousness, because the God of righteousness has become our salvation. Because Jesus saved us, we can't help but be merciful to others the way he was merciful to us. Because Jesus saved us, we want to be pure in heart, because we want to know this God who saved us, and we want to be righteous and pure like he is. Because he saved us, we can prioritize peace instead of vindication, because that's what he did for us. Because he saved us, we can endure persecution, because his resurrection shows us it's worth it. Our lawgiver was not a taskmaster who simply gave the law and then threatened punishments if we disobeyed. Our lawgiver was a savior who not only issued the law, but then offered himself as a substitute sacrifice for those ways in which we had broken it. He didn't just ascend a mountain like Moses and give the law. He ascended a cross to die in our place for breaking it. Which means if you look at these 8 things like rungs of a ladder that you got to climb to get to heaven, you're going to end up in despair. You can never be these things enough in order to earn the blessing of God. These 8 things are not rungs of a ladder that you climb to get to God. They are a grateful response to a God who climbed down the ladder to come and save you. Somebody told C.S. Lewis one time, they're like, "I hate the Sermon on the Mount." C.S. Lewis said, "I hate it too. I hate it like you hate a sledgehammer that destroys my house. But unless that sledgehammer had destroyed the house of my own righteousness, I would have never learned to really trust in Jesus. And if I'd never learned to trust in Jesus, I would have never had this grateful response that gave me the desire to be merciful and pure in heart and to hunger and thirst for righteousness."